You always ruin good things in your life and don't understand why. You sabotage opportunities, relationships, and achievements without even realizing it. Put yourself down. Don't think you're worthy. Well, this happens because your mind was programmed at some point in your life by a narcissist. Nothing is good, nothing is enough, everything is frustrating. And the worst part is that this haunts us even when we're far away. And I know you're recognizing yourself right now. It's like you have an internal enemy working 24 hours against you. Every time something good happens, a voice in your head says, "This won't last," or "You don't deserve this." When an opportunity appears, you find 1,000 reasons not to try. Carl Jung discovered something disturbing about this. Narcissists don't just hurt you in the present. They program you to hurt yourself in the future. It's as if they implanted a mental virus that keeps running even years after you've left their lives. Jung said this isn't coincidence or lack of willpower. It's the result of deliberate and calculated psychological programming. The narcissist literally rewrote your mind's software so you would self-destruct. If you're feeling a tightness in your chest right now, it's because your soul is recognizing the truth. Jung always said, our psyche knows when something resonates as true, even when our conscious mind is still resisting. Carl Jung identified that narcissists are master psychological programmers. They study your insecurities, your fears, your weak points, and then implant mental suggestions that become part of your internal dialogue. Here's what's most sinister. They do this so subtly that you think those critical voices are your own. You grew up believing that voice that diminishes you, criticizes you, sabotages you, is you talking to yourself. But Jung discovered the shocking truth. It's not your voice. It's the narcissist's voice that was internalized and now operates on your mind's autopilot. The result? You become your own executioner. You no longer need the narcissist present to hurt you. You do their job yourself. It's the most efficient form of control that exists. Jung called this psychological colonization. The narcissist colonizes your mind, implants their mental soldiers, and even when you escape physically, you continue being attacked internally. Now I'm going to show you exactly how Jung decoded this programming and, more importantly, how to deprogram your mind to finally stop being your own enemy. Jung identified that narcissists use 5 specific techniques to program you to self-sabotage. Each one is a psychological weapon disguised as care or guidance. If you're finally understanding why you're your own worst enemy, you're not alone. Thousands of people discovered how narcissists programmed them to fail. If this is making sense, help me by subscribing to the channel. This is how more people stop sabotaging their own happiness. First technique, implanting failure patterns. Jung observed that narcissists say things like, "You always start things and never finish them," or "You don't have discipline for this," or "You're just like your father, you'll never amount to anything." What happens? These phrases become self-fulfilling prophecies. Every time you try something new, this programming activates and makes you give up halfway through. Jung discovered that you start unconsciously sabotaging to prove the narcissist was right. What's sinister here is that the narcissist no longer needs to be present. They implanted a program that runs automatically. You always fail, so why try? Result, you stop trying before you even begin. Second technique, programming unworthiness. The narcissist constantly repeated that you don't deserve good things. Who do you think you are? Or, people like us can't dream big. Or, you're getting too big for your britches. Jung identified that this creates a ceiling of worthiness in your mind. Every time something good happens, you unconsciously sabotage because you exceeded the limit of what you believe you deserve. It's like having an internal alarm that goes off when you get too happy. Third technique, installing a perpetual internal critic. Jung observed that narcissists create a constant critical voice in your head that perfectly mimics their tone. You think it's your conscience, but it's actually the narcissist speaking through you. This voice says things like, "See, didn't I tell you it would go wrong?" Or, "You're being ridiculous," or, "Everyone's noticing you're a fraud." Jung discovered that this voice becomes more active precisely when you're doing well in life. Fourth technique, programming abandonment expectation. The narcissist conditioned you to believe that everyone will abandon you eventually, so you sabotage relationships before the person abandons you first. Jung noticed this creates a pattern where you attack or distance yourself from people who love you most because you can't believe love is real. The program says, better leave now before they hurt you. Fifth technique, implanting toxic comparison. The narcissist always compared you to others negatively. Why can't you be like your brother? Or, look how so-and-so succeeded and you didn't. Jung discovered this creates a mental program where you're never satisfied with your achievements because there's always someone better. You sabotage celebrations and moments of joy because it's not enough compared to others. Now Jung would explain how these programs activate. They have specific triggers, moments when your unconscious mind detects danger of success or happiness and activates self-sabotage. Jung identified that programs are activated mainly when you're about to achieve something you always wanted, be genuinely happy, receive real love, reach independence, or surpass the narcissist in some way. That's why you always ruin things precisely when they're going well. It's not bad luck. It's not destiny. It's programming working exactly as it was designed. Jung observed that these programs have what he called psychological timers. It's as if the narcissist placed alarms in your mind that go off at specific moments to pull you back down. The cruelest part is that the better you're doing, the stronger the internal pressure becomes to self-sabotage. Jung said it's like having a broken emotional thermostat that always pulls you back to the temperature of pain. How to deprogram? Jung developed a specific method he called psychological archaeology. First, you need to identify where these voices in your head came from. Jung taught, every time you hear that critical voice, ask, whose voice is this really? Most of the time, you'll discover it's the narcissist's voice that was internalized. The second step is to actively question these voices. Jung said, is this criticism true or is it programming? Start challenging every self-sabotaging thought as if it were an invader in your mind, because that's exactly what it is. Third step, rewrite the mental scripts. Jung believed you can create new programs to replace the old ones. Every time the old program activates, you consciously replace it with a new narrative. For example, when the voice says you always fail, you consciously respond, that's narcissist's name's voice, not mine. I am capable and deserve success. Jung on consciousness versus automatism. He always emphasized that programs work in the unconscious, but consciousness defeats them. The more conscious you become of your patterns, the less power they have over you. How to identify your specific programs? Jung advised. Observe your self-sabotage pattern. When do you sabotage? What triggers it? What voices do you hear at those times? Jung said, your symptoms are your teachers. Every time you sabotage yourself, it's an opportunity to identify which program is running and where it came from. Signs that a program is active according to Jung. You feel anxiety when things go well. Have self-destructive impulses in moments of success. Hear critical voices that don't seem yours. Feel you don't deserve good things. Or have unexplained fear of happiness. How to create new positive programs. Jung taught that you need to feed your mind with the same techniques the narcissist used, but with positive content. Conscious repetition of true affirmations about yourself, active celebration of small victories, systematic questioning of negative thoughts, and mainly, surround yourself with voices that contradict the toxic programming. Jung on personality reconstruction. He believed it's possible to completely rewrite mental programs, but it requires conscious and consistent work. The good news is that your mind wants to be free. It just needs permission and tools, techniques to reinforce new patterns. Jung recommended immediate intervention every time you detect self-sabotage beginning. Stop, breathe, and consciously choose a different action. For example, if you have an impulse to cancel a date when you're happy, Jung would say, recognize it's the program running, make a conscious decision to go anyway, and celebrate this victory over the programming. Jung discovered something powerful. Every time you consciously choose against the programming, you weaken the program and strengthen your real will. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. The key is persistence. Jung warned that programs will fight to survive. They'll intensify when you start changing. This doesn't mean you're failing. It means it's working. Jung on the internal battle. He said there's a war in your mind between who you really are and who the narcissist programmed you to be. Each conscious choice is a victory for your true identity. Something Jung emphasized. You're not trying to become a different person. You're trying to become who you always were, before the programming. You're coming home to yourself. Now you understand. You weren't born defective. You were programmed to fail. But Jung proved that all programming can be rewritten. In the comments, tell me, which destructive program did you recognize most in yourself? Your awareness can help others break their own programs. Remember what Jung always said, what you resist persists. What you accept and transform dissolves. Your self-sabotage programs only have power while they operate in the unconscious. The moment you bring them into the light of consciousness, they start losing strength. You go from victim of programming to programmer of your own mind. And here's something liberating Jung discovered. When you break these programs, you don't just stop sabotaging yourself. You become practically immune to future programming attempts. Jung observed that people who went through this deprogramming process develop what he called a psychological firewall. They can detect manipulation attempts in real time and automatically reject them. Your healing journey isn't just about stopping hurting yourself. It's about becoming a person impossible to be programmed again. It's about recovering total control of your own mind. Jung believed there's no accident in who goes through this experience. You were chosen to break generational patterns of toxic programming. Your healing heals not just you, but future generations of your family. The narcissist tried to make you a robot programmed to fail. But Jung knew that inside every programmed person exists a free human being fighting to emerge. You are that human being. And now you have the tools to liberate yourself. You are not your programs. You are the consciousness that can observe, question, and rewrite these programs. And that, Jung would say, is what makes you truly human and truly free. And there's something more that Jung discovered about this deprogramming process that will completely change how you see your journey. He observed that people who manage to break narcissistic programming develop extraordinary mental capabilities. Jung called this compensatory superconsciousness, as if your mind, after being freed from the prison of programming, developed superior mental abilities to compensate for years of internal sabotage. First, you develop what Jung called an instant manipulation detector. After breaking your own programs, you can identify programming attempts in other people in real time. It's as if you developed a supersensitive emotional antenna. Second, your intuition becomes surgical. Jung observed that deprogrammed people can read situations and people with almost supernatural precision. Years fighting against internal programming taught you to distinguish truth from lies at deep levels. Third, you develop extraordinary emotional resistance. Jung noticed that those who break narcissistic programming become practically immune to future attempts at mental control. It's as if you developed permanent psychological antibodies. Fourth, your ability to transform pain into wisdom becomes a superpower. Jung said that people who went through this journey can help others uniquely because they know every trap, every program, every form of internal sabotage that exists. Jung believed this isn't just a personal healing journey, it's a human evolution journey. You're literally evolving to a superior version of human being, a version that cannot be controlled, manipulated, or programmed. And here's the most powerful part. Jung observed that when you completely free yourself from programming, you start radiating an energy that automatically deprograms other people around you. Your presence becomes therapeutic. This means your healing doesn't just benefit you. Each person you deprogram breaks generational chains of mental control. You become an agent of psychological freedom in the world. Jung would say you didn't go through this pain by accident. You were forged in this experience to become a liberator of minds. Your mission now is to use your freedom to liberate others.